Joe Biden in the Oval Office, Iran wants to revive the nuclear deal or the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action at all costs. And now, the Shiite nation has started blackmailing him with a leaked audio clip of former Secretary of State John Kerry. So how does Tehran benefit from the audio clip, you may ask? Well, the leaked audio suggests that John Kerry had informed Iran's Foreign Minister Javed Zarif that Israel had attacked Iranian targets in Syria more than 200 times, which could well drive a wedge between the Biden administration and Israel. Hi and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Rohan Sachdeva, and in this video we'll talk about the latest bid by Iran to create a divide between Israel and the US and its attempt to revive the Iran nuclear deal. Let's begin. There is a pro-Iran president in the White House, and Tehran will hence do anything to get the nuclear deal revived. In fact, if needed, Iran has no qualms in blackmailing the friendly US president. Well, this is exactly what is happening now. We are talking about Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif's latest remarks about John Kerry, the US Special Presidential Envoy for Climate. Zarif has made a clear attempt to drive a wedge between the Biden administration and Israel in a bid to blackmail the US president into reviving the nuclear deal. Zarif reportedly claimed in a leaked audio clip that John Kerry had informed him of more than 200 Israeli operations in Syria while he was serving as the US Secretary of State under former President Barack Obama. According to the audio leak accessed by New York Times and other media outlets, Kerry shocked Zarif by disclosing that Israel had attacked Iranian targets in Syria more than 200 times. This is a revelation like no other. Noah Pollack of the foreign policy-focused Democratic Alliance group tweeted, John Kerry was ratting out Israeli covert operations in Syria directly to the Iranian foreign minister. Let that sink in. John Kerry has previously been accused of colluding with Iranian leaders only in order to undermine the Trump administration. Furthermore, Kerry also has a long history of being favorable towards Iran during his stint as the Secretary of State. In 2016, for example, Kerry had encouraged the European bank chiefs to invest in the Shiite nation. But the latest leak mounts trouble of the Biden administration as John Kerry has a seat on the National Security Council as a special presidential envoy for climate. Kerry, meanwhile, has done what every politician does to avoid controversy: refute the allegations. Speaking along predictable lines, the former US Secretary of State tweeted, I can tell you that this story and these allegations are unequivocally false. This never happened, either when I was Secretary of State or since. The political fallout of the leaked audio clip is clearly visible. Republicans have latched onto the opportunity coming their way. Senator Dan Sullivan, Rick Scott, Nikki Haley, and Elise Stefanik are some of the most prominent GOP leaders who have launched scathing verbal assaults against John Kerry in a bid to mount political trouble on the Biden administration. But how does the leaked audio help Iran? After all, Iran does have a friendly US president in the White House. So why would it try to mount pressure on him? Well, the fact remains that Tehran has only given a threat to Biden. The Iranian government is telling Biden the level of political damage which it could potentially cause inside Washington if the US doesn't push for the revival of the 2015 nuclear deal. To put it simply, the leaked audio suggests that Tehran can easily drive a deep wedge between the Biden administration and Israel if things don't go the way Tehran wants. At the end of the day, even Biden doesn't want Kerry's Iran history to create bad blood between him and the Israelis. After all, no US president, including the Tehran-friendly Joe Biden, can afford to upset Israel or the Jews. The Jewish community may not be a huge vote bank in American politics, but it is one of the wealthiest and amongst the most generous of political funders within the US. They have a considerable lobby amongst both the Democrats and Republicans, which is a part of their strategy to preserve the special US-Israel alliance. Therefore, both Democrats and Republicans try to win over the Jewish community and their generous donations. Political careers in the US can get ruined if someone annoys the Jewish community. This is exactly why Biden would not fancy Iran to open up on allegations of his climate envoy ratting out the Jewish nation of Israel during his stint as a US Secretary of State. Yet, Iran has given Biden a sneak peek of the extensive damage that it could cause in case the White House walks back on its promise of reviving the Iran nuclear deal. Iran doesn't want to take down the Biden administration, but the Shiite nation has given a loud and clear message to the US president: we can take you down if you don't fall in line.